The birth anniversary of Lal Bahadur Shastri was observed on October 2nd. Okay, about Lal Bahadur Shastri. Lal Bahadur Shastri served as India's Prime Minister from 1964 to 1966. And Lal Bahadur Shastri served as India's Prime Minister from 1964 to 1966. Contribution pre-independence participation non civil disobedience movement and active in the He led many campaigns and spent 7 years in British post-independence. He led the 1965 India-Pakistan war, inspired Indian soldiers and farmers were facing a food crisis with the slogan Jai Jawan Jai Kisan. During this, his tenure, the National Dairy Development Board and Food Corporations of India was established. Okay, national resilience and dedication to national progress. He showed remarkable resilience, participating in freedom movements and enduring imprisonment multiple times for India's independence. He spearheaded initiatives like the White Revolution, emphasizing the importance of agriculture for the nation's development. Okay, next we have the. I believe that's all from this topic. Socialist secular in the preamble. Okay, recently Supreme Court on in Dr. Balram Singh versus Union of India 2024 dismissed petition challenging the inclusion of the words socialist and secular in the preamble through 42nd Amendment Act of 1976. Okay, more of the news. Okay, petitions against the inclusion of these words were filed on the ground that they were inserted during the times of emergency and did not represent the people's will. The petitions also filed that since the date of adoption 26 November 1949 by the Constituent Assembly was mentioned in the preamble and no additional words could be inserted later to it. Okay, about 47th Amendment Act 1976. Okay. About it was referred to as the mini constitution that is amended the preamble 40 articles 7th schedule and the added 40 new articles and 2 new parts to the constitution. Okay, major changes made were preamble inserted the word socialist, secular, and integrity. Okay, changed the unity of nation to unity and integrity of the nation. Okay, changes in the sound schedule. The following categories were transferred from the state list to the concurrent list. Okay, education, forest, protection of wild animals and birds, weights and measures, okay, administration of justice, constitutions and organization of all courts with the exception of the Supreme Court and High Courts. Emergency amended Article 352 to authorize the President of declared emergency not only throughout the country and but also in any part of addition to the new DPSPs. Article 39, okay, to secure opportunities for healthy development of children. Article 39, equal justice and free legal aid. Okay, Article 43A, participation of workers in the management of industries. Article 48A, protection and improvement of environment and safeguarding of forest and wildlife, and addition of new parts, that is part 4A of fundamental duties, part 14A, establishment of administrative tribunals. Okay, key observations made by the Supreme Court. Okay, dismissed retrospective to the date of adoption and does not curtail the amending power of the Parliament under the Article 368 of the Constitution. So Article 360 says that Parliament may in existence of its constitutional power amend the way of addition, variation or repeal any provisions in accordance with the procedure laid down in this article. The court held that this amending power extends to the preamble and can be challenged on various grounds, including violation of the basics of structure. Okay, define socialism and secularism. Okay, the court also defined the two terms as secularism represents one of the facets of the right to equality, as neither the state maintains its own religion nor restricts the freedom. One of the facets of the right to equality, as neither the state maintains its own religion nor restricts the freedom of conscience and right to freely profess, practice and propagate religion to citizens. In Keshavananda Bharati vs. State of Kerala and S.R. Bommai vs. Union of India, Supreme Court observed that secularism is the basic feature of the Constitution. Socialism belongs to states commitment to the welfare and its commitment to ensure equality of opportunity. Constitution is a living document. Over time, India has developed its own interpretation of these terms, imparting an organic character to the Constitution. Okay, next we have the about secularism and socialism. Okay, preamble and its amendability. Preamble gives a glimpse of Constitution's philosophy. Originally declared India as a sovereign democratic republic, does not grant a substantial rights, not responsible in courts, unifies power or to the people. Okay, next we have the Burberry case 1960. Preamble is not part of the Constitution. Keshavananda Bharati case, that is Keshavananda Bharati case is 1973. The preamble is part of the Constitution and can be amended. Okay, LIC of India case 1995 again held that preamble is a part of the Constitution. Okay, secularism Indian concept of secularism follows consumption, neutrality, and positive holds to other teaching. Okay, in the state enjoys the raw power to regulate the economic, financial, political, and secular aspects associated with the religious practice. Okay, it deals with the religion field of education and minority communities. Okay, it is religion associated with the religious. In the state enjoys the power to regulate the economic, financial, political, and secular aspects associated with the religious practice. Okay, these different concepts based on the principle of non-interference in the matter of religion, and in the state and religion are strictly separated. Okay, socialism deals with the principles which envisages establishment of society where all individuals enjoy equality in different walks of life, economical, political, and social, etc. Okay, the idea of socialism was largely popularized with the Karl Marx, who gave the idea of scientific socialism. He held that violent revolution by the ruling class could overthrow the exploitative capitalists. Socialism in communist countries like Cuba, China, and North Korea, etc., provides for the strict control of industries by the government and a centrally planned economy. Okay, there are many varieties of socialism, double aggregate democratic socialism, evolutionary socialism, Fabian socialism, Hegel socialism, etc. Idea of socialism it is based on the mixed economy model where a state ensures the welfare of the needy while private enterprise exists for increased employment and strong economic growth. It was largely shaped by the ideas of leaders like Jawaharlal Nehru, Mahatma Gandhi, etc. It is different from socialism practiced in other communist countries in the following ways. It rejects a large difference between individual and community focused on farming both together. Relevance of private property acquired greater emphasis to the state in bringing the chair along with the presence of private property. It does not believe in the elimination of capitalists but seeks to remove inequality. Ideas of non-violence. It is seeks to eliminate violence from domestic politics. Democratic socialism it is based on the idea of coexistence of democratic principles with the ideas of socialism. It differs from Marxism and its consumption of state. It believes that the state is not an instrument of exploitation of workers by the capitalism. Rather, the state is an instrument of social welfare. Okay, all colossus in society on the state. Okay, it advocates peaceful and evolutionary means for social change through ballot box. Despite difference from the Marxist idea of socialism, it shares the common goals of ending the exploitations of workers and promoting equality among people. Okay, conclusion: the current Supreme Court ruling stresses on the idea that constitutional values have shown continuous evolution to see the needs of the country. The ideas like socialism and secularism are now well accepted and understood by the people. Hence, and the vigilance, education, and willingness to adapt the new challenges while remaining true to the core values of constitution like justice, liberty, and equality will go along with dealing with the contemporary challenges like persistent inequalities, environmental degradation, etc. Okay, poverty rise in India. Why there was any judge in 9th Constitutional Bench of the Supreme Court delivered a landmark ruling of a property owners association with the state of Maharashtra restricted the power of the state to acquire private property. More than its citizen union has overruled the earlier rulings in the state of Karnataka. Ranganatha Reddy 1978 Sanjeev Coking Manufacturing Company versus Bharat Coking Coal Limited and NR 1993. Both the cases undeclared private properties could be considered community resources. They shift marks a significant development in the legal understanding of property rights in the declaration of right to property. Okay. Origins initially the right to property and the compensation for acquisitions were protected as fundamental rights under the Article 90 of 1 and F31 of the Constitution. Article 99 and the Amendment 97 introduced the Article 31C, which protected laws designed to fulfill the directive principles of state policy, specifically Article 39B and 39C, from being challenged for violating fundamental rights, including those articles under the Article 14 and 19. A revised status the right to property. The 44th Constitution Amendment in 1971 removed the right to property from the list of fundamental rights, making a constitutional right under the Article 300. Okay, key highlights of the recent judgment: Property Owners Association versus the State of Maharashtra. Scope of Article 39. The court emphasized that private property cannot be automatically be classified as a material resources of the community under the Article 39B. It clarified that not all property resources may be conditions to be treated as such. Article 39B provides that ownership and control of the material resources of the community and so distributed as best to observe the common good. Authority for property acquisition. Article 39B does not grant legislative power to the state to acquire private property. The courts clarified that it comes from the sovereign power of eminent domains and entry body of the list 3 in the 7th schedule. The criteria of classification. The inclusion of private property as a material source depends on its nature, sincerity, scarcity, impact on community welfare, and concentration in flexibility and economic policy. The country stressed that the framers of the constitution intended for economic policies to be flexible, allowing governments to adapt it to changing needs rather than being tied to fixed economic doctrine. Validity and after Article 31C, the court unanimously ruled that Article 31C upheld the Keshavananda Bharati case is still valid. Balancing public welfare with private property rights. The court balanced public welfare with private property thus ensuring government actions align with the constitutional principles like equality, Article 14, and the right to property, Article 300. It also applies the public trust doctrine, mandating responsible resources management of the public good. Okay, limits of eminent domain. Okay, the court questioned the broad application of the doctrine of eminent domain in land acquisition. In the court clarified that not all privately property or the resources, quality of material resources of the community that can be appropriated for public. Okay, doctrine of eminent domain provides that the government can acquire private property for public use, balancing societal welfare and property. The powers is exercised by all levels of government, but fair compensation must be provided to the owner. Okay, elements of doctrine of eminent domain. Public use government can acquire private property for public purposes like infrastructure, but only if there is legitimate need and no alternative. Just compensation when property is acquired, the government must provide a fair compensation to the owner based on the market value at the time of acquisition. Due process requires due process planning. Property owners must be notified in advance and given chance to contest the acquisition of negotiate compensation. Government authority can only be exercised by the government or authorized public agencies with the legal authority to take property for public use. It is typically regulated by the legislation in most jurisdictions worldwide. Important case laws in Sudarshan Charitable Trust versus Government of Tamil Nadu. The Supreme Court clarified that eminent domain is based on right of the state sovereignty. The state can acquire private property for public interest provided fair compensation is given. This power does not violate persons' right to livelihood or dignity of public trust doctrine. It helps protect the environment by ensuring the reasonable management of natural resources. By invoking this doctrine, we can safeguard these resources and promote the protection of the earth. It was recognized as part of Article 21 in the landmark cases of T.H. Majra Singh versus Indian Oil Corporation and M.I. Builders versus Badly Sham Shahu. Okay, state as trustee. Under the public trust doctrine, the state acts as a trustee, managing natural resources for the public welfare. It ensures that resources are used responsibly and not depleted or damaged. In T.D. Govardhan versus Yenna of India, the Supreme Court affirmed that the state as a trustee must ensure natural resources are used sustainability for the public good. Citizens are beneficiaries. These citizens are the beneficiaries of the trust, using resources sustainability for their benefit and for future implications of the Supreme Court decisions, legislative and policy impact. The ruling may influence future property acquisition laws, land reforms, and social welfare programs, promoting fairness and transparency. Economic reforms and decisions seen as a shift to more market-oriented economy by limiting the state's power to acquire property, supporting private investments while ensuring social justice. Political bodies may adjust their stances on land reforms and property rights, while the ruling could shape social welfare programs, especially land redistribution for the underprivileged. Constitutional scrutiny. The judgment reinforces judiciary role in scrutinizing government actions on private property, ensuring laws align with the constitutional rights, including inequality and equality in property. Conclusion. The Supreme Court of Judgment clarified on Article 39b, stressing on its case-by-case approach for classifying private property as a material resource for public use. The decision emphasizes the need for government actions to uphold constitutional principles, including equality and property rights, while performing responsible resources management through the public trust doctrine. Indian democracy in political parties. While the discussions are ongoing about the role of Election Commission of India in enforcing democratic functioning of their political parties in India, what is Indian party democracy? Indian party democracy is conceived as Indian arrangement structure and coordination of political parties in consonance with democratic principles, with a direct hearing on how candidates are selected, leaders emerge, policies are made, and funding is provided. Need for Indian body democracy. Decentralization limits the centralized discretionary control exercised by top level party leaders and open decision making processes to input from the wider circles of party stakeholders at various levels. The prevent criminalization addresses the systematic issue of candidate selection based on winnability, often driven by money and muscle power. As per Association of Democratic Reformers ADR, 46% of the newly elected Lok Sabha members have criminal cases against them. Representation provides citizens equal political opportunity to participate in politics and contest elections. Even the participation offers opportunities for new era reduces the influence of established leaders. Reduce corruption. Administrative Reforms Commission (ARCs) in 2008 ethics and governance report wrote that corruption is caused by the over centralization. Transparency and free flow of information. George Stuart Mill's on liberty. Duty argues for the absolute protection of the liberty, authority, and discretion. The reasons for lack of internal body democracy. No statutory backing. The only economic position is under the Article Section 1979 of the Representation of People's Act (RPA) 1951, which provides for the registration of political parties within the EGI. Also, EC's guidelines and application format for the registration of political parties under Section 29A only prescribe provisions for internal accountability and non-candidate selection. Lack of penal provisions as per the judgment under the Supreme Court of Indian National Congress (EI) versus Institute of Social welfare. The ECA currently lacks the power to de-register poverty. The structure challenges prevalence of dynastic politics, centralized power structures, and a defection of 52nd Amendment of the Constitution of 1985 mandating the strict party line, other issues, lack of political will, weak organizational framework, etc. No electoral reforms can be effective without reforms in the political party system. National Commission to review the working of the Constitution, NCRWC, opinions report on electoral process and political parties. To for transparency, several government constituted committees related to the electoral reforms like the Chakunde Committee 1975, Dinesh Goswami Committee 1990, and Indrajit Gupta Committee 1998 strongly argued for more transparent working of the political parties in the country. Okay, recommendations of Law Commission 2253 report on electoral reforms. New chapter IBC and RPA 1951 to deal with internal democracy, party constitutions, party organizations, internal elections, candidate selections, voting procedures, and the ECI's power to deregister a party certain cases of non-compliance. National Commission to review the working of the Constitution, NCRWC, comprehensive legislation as the political parties registrations and regulations regulating the registration and functioning of political parties or alliances of parties in India. USA presidential election. Why there was a recent US presidential election was conducted through the electoral college system. US presidential election versus Indian presidential election. Parameters. Composition of electoral members. USA, the electoral college consists of 530 electors, Senate 100 plus 3 or 4 District of Columbia, and 49 members of the House of Representatives. The electoral college is an intermediary body or process that uses the United States President. This system voters for each state cast their ballots to choose members or electors of the electoral college who then vote to select the president. States have varying members of electors based on the representations in Congress. The majority 270 electoral votes is required to elect the President of the United States of America. Okay, governing act rules. Okay, each state establishes its own election rules as reflected in the United States decentralized system where individual states oversee and manage the electoral process. The nomination process can secure party nominations through primaries and caucuses. Election methods. Most states follow a winner-take-all approach wherein the candidates with the majority in the state wins all the electoral votes except in Maine and Nebraska. Candidates can win the presidency without winning the popular vote like Donald Trump win in 2016. So in India, members of the electoral college is consisted of the elected members of both the houses of parliament and the elected members of the legislative assemblies of the states, including National Capital Territory of Delhi and the Union Territory of Puducherry, while the Constitutions of the Amendment Act of 1992 Article 54. The nominated members of either House of the Parliament or the legislative assemblies of a state are not eligible to be included in the electoral college. The presidential and vice presidential election in the Act 1952. A prospective presidential candidate should get his or her nomination waiver or subscribe at least 50 electors as proposals and at least 50 electors against a system of proportional representation by means of single transferable vote, and the voting at such election shall be by secret where the candidates needs to secure 50% of the total votes cast plus to win. Okay, use of EVM as electronic voting machines every 5 years except in exceptional cases. Separate election takes place for Vice President of India. Vote counting process significantly largely to reliance on paper ballots and the handling of mail-in votes like of our postal ballots. The frequency of election every 4 years on a fixed schedule. Running made the presidential candidates choose a running a made vice presidential candidates. Municipal corporation in India. Why there is the report titled on sources of revenue generation in municipal corporation opportunities and challenges was raised by the RBI. Municipal institutions in India. India's size are home to over 400 million people. A number of expected to exceed 800 million people by 2050 through cities cover just 3% of the land areas. They contribute more than 60% of the country's GDP. The 74th constitutional amendment in area formalized local governments in India, providing constitutional basis for the local governments. Functions of local governments in the 74th amendment read with the 43rd schedule. The constitution outlines 18 functions that state governments can delegate to municipalities, including urban planning, land use, regulation, construction, etc. Revenue and fiscal was Article 243X grants state governments the authority to authorize ULBs to impose taxes, duties, and fees and to assign certain revenue sources to ULBs. Article 243Y assigns the responsibility of reviewing and recommending the devolution of taxes and grants to State Finance Commission (SFCs). Revenue sources of government local bodies. Own sources: tax revenue, property tax, VAT, benefit tax, etc. Non-tax revenue, charges, developmental changes, charges, etc. Other receipts like lease, rent, sale of rubbish, etc. Assigned shared revenue, entertainment tax received under the GST, except when levied by the local bodies, personal tax, etc. Government grants in area central and State Finance Commission subsidies, evaluation grants under the programs like SPM and Amrut borrowings, loans from states and central governments, banks, etc. The key findings of the RBI report: lower revenue generation. Neither municipality generate only 0.6% of GDP in 2023-24, much lower than the central government's 9.2% and state government's 1.6%, limiting the urban development fund The tax revenues constitute 30% of the municipal corporation's income, followed by the grants, contributions, and subsidies 24.9%, fees and user charges 20.2%. Additionally, according to the CAG report, MCs and cities states collect only 56% of the property tax demand. Okay, reliance on transfers. Municipalities depend heavily on delayed and insufficient government transfers. That is, in 2023, grants from the central and state governments to municipalities increased by 34.9% and 20.4% respectively. Municipal borrowings rose from 2,886 crores in 2019-20 to 30,364 crores in 2023-24, increasing from the 1.9% to 5.62% of the total respective municipal bonds. The municipal bond market is underdeveloped, totaling rupees 4,204 crores, 0.09% of the corporate bonds, with most bonds privately replaced, having investor potential. Additionally, the green bond market is still in its nascent stage, and the process of issuing a green bond involves additional costs for green audits and monitoring key performance indicators. Okay, other issues faced by the municipal corporations in the financial challenge are how implementation of SFCs. State often delay on inadequately implement the State Finance Commission SFC recommendation for X. Telangana's SFC was called in 2015 but only considered in 2018. Law approves sovereign absorbed capacity in Indian cities. According to a recent CI report, urban local self-government civil justice in 11 out of 18 states have utilized only 61% of their funds allocated to the governance limited evaluation of powers. Despite the 74th Constitutional Amendment, many states haven't fully devolved powers to LBs, especially in urban planning and land use regulation. Okay, state election commissions, SECs, the insufficient structuring of state election commissions affects the timely conduct of municipal elections every 5 years. Okay, Forex elections to the Bhuth, Bangalore, Maharashtra, Mahanagara Palike, BBMP have been delayed since 2020, disrupting local government resources. High vacancy rates, 30 to 40% lack of training limits MC's ability to provide services. For instance, in 18 states, 37% of the positions are vacant as per the CAG report. Okay, urban planning and service delivery, a significant portion of municipal expenditure, 29% is not directed toward urban development, limiting infrastructure investment as per the CAG report. Way forward, enhance one source revenue. Okay, property tax allowed evaluation-based property tax formulas, GS mapping, and digital payment platforms to improve compliance and reduce leakage. Non-tax revenues adjust user charges for water, sanitation, and waste management to ensure cost recovery. Use technology and public campaigns to improve free collection. Timely transfers ensure direct, predictable transfers from state governments based on the clear formula that accounts for inflation and city growth. From State Finance Commission SFCs regularly to recommend and implement transfers on time. Revise city funding, explore municipal bonds and innovative financing for capital investment sources for large-scale infrastructure projects to overcome fiscal constraints. Okay, access climate finance for sustainable urban planning, focusing on green infrastructure and renewable energy. Transparent financial management. Okay, implement national municipal accounting manual (NMAM). Support standardized accounting practices. State governments should mandate compliance, support training, and link intergovernmental organ transfers to accounting standards. Human resources stage should address issues like vacancies and lack of training institutions. For example, Madhya Pradesh has created a municipal cadre to improve staffing and skill development. Okay, next we have the non-governmental organization NGOs. Find the Minister of Home Affairs has constructed NGO organization registered under the Foreign Contribution Regulation FCRA Act of 2005 to report the changes in their